Dave Gardy here live for Golf Center TV at Arlington, Virginia's Washington Golf Centers, and I have here with me Mr. Jim Percherke, who is FootJoy's sales representative. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Dave, glad to be here today.
I have FootJoys, all my friends have FootJoys, it's a dominant shoe in golf. Tell us a little bit about the company and how it got to be that way.
Well, FootJoys certainly are the only shoes that make your feet happy, but it happened through a great heritage of the brand. The brand actually began back in 1857 by a gentleman by the name of Fred Packard, who broke away from his father's shoe boot business to start his own shoe company. Later, the company was purchased by two gentlemen by the name of Pearlie Flint and Fred Field. I actually got a picture of him right here back in the 1920s.
And just for the who's who?
Mr. Field is over here, and Mr. Flint is over here on the right.
Great.
The brand FootJoy was actually not named until 1923. Interestingly enough, it was named by a person in the factory, a stitch room operator, who won a local contest. At that time, she won the grand prize of $50 for naming the brand FootJoy. 2 years later, in 1925, the FootJoy brand was first commercially marketed as the shoe that's different. And then it's 2 years later after that, in 1927, Walter Hagen, the Ryder Cup captain, chose FootJoy to be the shoe of choice for the Ryder Cup team. 1945 was the first year that a PGA Tour count was used for the FootJoy golf shoes. And at that year, FootJoy was the #1 shoe on tour. And for the next 60 years, to this day, FootJoy remains the #1 shoe in golf.
Excellent. Now, you've got quite a display here at the Washington Golf Centers. Give us a little bit of overview of some of the shoes you've got.
We have several different sub-brands within the FootJoy line, all the way starting from the top-of-the-line FootJoy Classic Premiers and Classics Tours, which are still manufactured in our Brockton facility, which is just south of Boston. What makes a Classic unique and different is the 160 steps it actually takes to make a Classic golf shoe. The FootJoy Classic factory in Brockton is the only shoe factory in the United States where welted shoes are made.
What's a welted shoe for the layman?
I knew you were going to ask that, Dave. For the layman, a welted shoe basically is the ability to sew the upper of the shoe to the outsole, called Goodyear welt construction. What does that mean to the average golfer? You're having the benefit of a precise fit, alpha sizing, A through triple E in the Classic shoes. There is no shoe in golf that will fit your foot like a FootJoy Classic Premier or a FootJoy Classics Tour.
Just a question, and I'm usually in this situation. I see my ball about 6 inches into the puddle, and I'm going to step in there and hit it. Why do I want to be in a FootJoy when I do that, stepping it into the water?
Well, you want to be in a FootJoy when you step in the water because of the great thing about the DryJoy brand that we have. FootJoy DryJoys give you the benefit of having a shoe that's waterproof and breathable, and that's not easily done. To give you kind of an example, your shoe or your foot could be waterproof if your foot was in a plastic bag. The problem is it would be very, very hot. So FootJoy designed a leather called ECL leather, Extreme Comfort Leather, that allows air to pass through the leather, but water to not pass through it. It's a sophisticated tanning process that allows that to occur.
Yet it's still leather.
Yet it still is leather, absolutely.
I've noticed over the years different designs on the treadwear design. Give us some of the thinking that goes into some of these, because I know just the ones that I've had recently, the whole structure's changed a bit.
Sure. Usually what we'll find when a consumer picks up a golf shoe, the first thing that they do is they actually turn the shoe over to look at the outsole, because there's a story to be told in the outsole. This particular one on our new shoe called the GF2 has an outsole design called the wishbone suspension system. And what does that mean? It sounds kind of complicated. For the guy that will to understand it, we can talk in terms of a car language. It works similar to how a suspension system works in a car. The forefoot of the shoe, which is this part, and the heel will work together with a little suspension system called the wishbone. The OptiFlex zones, which are out here in the forepart of the shoe, will allow the shoe to bend where it should bend, but at the same time, the shoe will be a very stable platform to hit from. You have the best of both worlds, flexibility and stability in the outsole.
Excellent. I had no idea that was on the bottom of those shoes.
A lot of people don't know what's under the hood of a golf shoe.
Give us an overview of what's under the hood of a woman's golf shoe and a little bit of the thinking that goes into that.
Sure. In the ladies' line, the big thing to understand on the ladies' golf shoes for FootJoy, they are not toned-down versions of the men's. We have a ladies' marketing department and a ladies' product development team that actually design golf shoes that will fit the contour of a lady's foot. Ladies' feet are shaped obviously much differently than a men's foot. And all of our shoes have specific ladies last. You may ask what a last is. A last is a form, sort of looks like a shoe tree that a shoe is actually formed and manufactured around. All of our ladies' shoes will be tapered and manufactured so they will actually contour in the heel of a lady's foot.
Excellent. And do you sell as many women's shoes as you do men's shoes? Or how's that? I mean, proportion to golfers that are out there.
Our market share for ladies is the same as it is for men. Industry sources give the FootJoy brand at about a 60% market share with consumers.
Where do you see shoe design going in the future?
I think the shoe design will still have one foot in the past. There's still a traditional golfer that wants the traditional look, but there's also one foot in the future where there's innovative technologies, where people like some shoes that are not the traditional grandfather's shoes. And the great thing about FootJoy is we have our feet both places. We have the ability to look back on our past heritage and the great past that we have, but at the same time making sure that we're innovating new products and designs that will make the person's foot fashionable, performance-related, and very functional as well.
Anything else you want to tell us about the FootJoy brand?
FootJoy brand's a fun brand. It really is. Like I said, we have the ability to reach back into the past and learn from all the things that we've done over the years, but we're a cutting-edge technology group as well that's always looking for ways to improve. It's been with the company for over 15 years, and I can say each day is a lot of fun and certainly challenging every day.
Well, Jim, thank you for joining us. Jim Percherke, who is the FootJoy sales representative here and around the Mid-Atlantic. Here at Washington Golf Centers, I'm Dave Gardy for Golf Center TV. Thanks again for joining us. Stay tuned.